Shadow Mamoswine farming up. The opponent tries to make the avalanche catch back onto Necrozma, but the only thing Necrozma's catching is the high horsepower to the face. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have an incredible battle submission from GGDAWG. GGDAWG is going to be showcasing the incredible power of Shadow Mamoswine in the Open Master League. This Pokemon that looks like Manny from Ice Age, shout out anyone that has watched that film, is one of my personal favourites. Has two absolute nuke charge moves. First of all, it's got Avalanche. For anyone that doesn't know, Avalanche is a Psystrike clone. 45 energy for 90 damage. It's also got a very good coverage move with high horsepower. High horsepower, 60 energy for 100 damage. It's pretty comparable to Earthquake, which is 65, 110. So you already know what we're dealing with, a true nuke. The combination of Ice and Ground offensively is phenomenal. These two typings cover each other near perfectly. If a typing resists one, they're going to take heavy neutral damage or super effective from the other. Rounding GGDAWG's team off, we've got a best buddy, level 51 Legacy Rayquaza, a Pokemon we haven't seen too much recently, and the new kid on the block, Dusk Mane Necrozma. Without any further ado, let's get into the battle. And in game one, GGDAWG sees Dawnwing's Necrozma in the lead. We're thankful to see this variety here, as I haven't got a sub-steel type in, meaning these Dragon Tails and Breaking Swipes are going to chunk. Breaking Swipe has been nerfed, only a 50% chance to get the attack drop. However, we win the coin flip. We're still going to invest the Protect Shield, as Rayquaza cannot tank a hit for shit. GGDAWG then banks a Breaking Swipe for the road, snipes Necrozma with his Dusk Mane variant. Out comes Groudon. It's nice to bait this thing out, as despite Mamoswine having Ice offensively, they've got Fire Punch coverage, and Shadow Mamoswine is also insanely glassy. We managed to obtain ourselves a shield advantage. We then call the bait, which means Groudon is going to be forced to dump yet further energy. Rayquaza, when it comes back in, is going to be a complete wall to this thing. Dragon single resist fire and flying double resist ground. So this Groudon is going to find itself in a very tough spot. Rayquaza is certainly on the glacier side of things. However, this Groudon is absolutely helpless. That Fire Punch just tickles the opponent, not wanting to get farmed down. Send out Shadow Mewtwo, but Shadow Mewtwo not going to appreciate the oppressive power of Rayquaza. GGDAWG throws 3 Dragon Tails and the next Breaking Swipe for optimal fast move timing, forcing the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent then gets greedy, over farming. Rayquaza fires off the next Breaking Swipe. Shadow Mewtwo makes a very brief cameo appearance, and we spam the switch back into Mamoswine. GGDAWG gonna burn the final Protect Shield, shielding up the Fire Punch bait, but no bait will be saving this opponent's fate as we're able to reach the Avalanche, and that is gonna be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the endgame scenario, despite Fire Punch being super effective and Precipice Blaze only being neutral, Precipice Blaze is such a busted move. It would not only do more damage, but would actually be better DPE. Heading into the next battle, we see Rayquaza into Gyarados, aka a real dragon versus a fake one. Once again, we see GGDAWG getting that coin flip attack drop, and we see the pivot into Mamoswine. Mamoswine shields up the crunch. The opponent looks to reach another move, but they're unable to. Mamoswine gets the Powder Snow farm down, and out comes Dragonite. Trainer, are you serious? Mamoswine fires off the Avalanche. The opponent completely sacked Dragonite, putting all their hopes and dreams on the 2 shield. Tap, tap, Charmer. Out comes Togekiss. Mamoswine fires off the first Avalanche, forcing the first Protect Shield, and Mamoswine says there's plenty more of where that came from. The second Avalanche forced the opponent all shields down, and we now find ourselves in an unlosable position. Out comes Dusk Mane. GGDAWG farms up, looks to make the Flamethrower catch. Onto Rayquaza. We actually catch an Aura Sphere, which is just as funny. The opponent says fuck this game, they probably uninstall and go back to playing Fortnite. Heading into the next battle, we see the Battle of Dragons. Rayquaza into Palkia. The opponent farms up, banks the Aqua Tail for the road, and catches the Breaking Swipe onto Shadow Mewtwo. Mewtwo did not appreciate that damage whatsoever, and it's definitely not going to appreciate GGDAWG returning the favour, catching the double resisted side strike onto Dusk Mane. Dusk Mane able to get the full Shadow Claw farm down, and back out comes Palkia. The opponent going to fire off the Aqua Tail, which they did bank earlier. However, we easily withstand the damage. GGDAWG not messing around, going straight for the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse secures the knockout, and out comes the opponent's own Dusk Mane. The opponent unable to farm down before we reach the departing Dark Pulse, forcing the opponent's first Protect Shield. The opponent does leave with energy, but at a shield disadvantage. GGDAWG sends back out Rayquaza, fires off the breaking swipe, fishing for that attack drop. Unfortunately, we don't manage to get it. GGDAWG says, why not try again? We're going to shield up the Dark Pulse, look to fire off the next breaking swipe. Despite this being resisted, the opponent is very quickly going to find himself in the red. The opponent unwilling to shield. We send out Mamoswine, going to shield up the potential Sunsteel Strike. The opponent baits with the Dark Pulse, but no bait. Did save that opponent's fate, as we're able to resist it, Powder Snow farm down, and take that game. In the next battle, see Dusk Mane this time in the lead, which is a problem for us. GGDAWG attempts to fire off the breaking swipe, but the opponent strikes first. With the Dark Pulse, we tank the damage and pivot into the mirror. The opponent sends out Groudon. Nice to bait this thing out, but not exactly what we're looking for. We farm to the Sunsteel Strike bait with the Dark Pulse, forcing a Protect Shield. The opponent farms the Precipice Blades, and we are looking to call the bait. GGDAWG successfully calls the bait and is going to get off some very much needed chip damage. Dark Pulse gets Groudon below half health. The opponent could Mudshot farm us down, but they actually get scared, thinking we might reach a Dark Pulse, and in fairness, we probably could have. GGDAWG sends back out Rayquaza over farms before firing off the breaking swipe, looking to remove Groudon from the field of play, which we do. The opponent's Dusk Mane could still be a bit of a problem. To my surprise, the opponent opts to send out Palkia. Why? I have no idea. Breaking swipe forces the opponent's final protection. We look to pivot, but for some reason, we get farmed down. However, it's 2-shield Mamo versus the world. Of course, GGDAWG going to shield up the incoming Aqua Tail. Mamoswine farmed up. The opponent attempts to catch the avalanche onto Necrozma, but all they're catching is the high horsepower to their face. Necrozma straight in and straight out. Back out comes Palkia. GGDAWG with one Protect Shield, 2 hide behind. Gonna shield up the incoming Aqua Tail. Return fire with the avalanche. Avalanche, a very hard hitting move, and gonna be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Very, very nice patience from GGDAWG, helping him emerge victorious in the next battle. Well, that's a yikes lead if I ever did see one. Not only is this pesky fairy going to be a problem for Rayquaza, Mamoswine isn't going to fancy tanking a close combat to the face. GGDAWG banks some energy, pivots into Necrozma. Evidently the opponent doesn't have a great response, so they opt to throw back-to-back close combats, which isn't lethal but does leave us in the red. The opponent then sends out Hydreigon, able to get the resisted Dragon Breath farm down. We send back out Rayquaza. Ideally, we need to start forcing some shields of this opponent. The opponent actually opts to tank the break-in swipe and they reach a charge move, which is essentially worst case scenario. GGDAWG shields up the Brutal Swing, commits to the full Dragon Tail farm down. I imagine Zacian will be returning. Oh man, you know what's even worse than Zacian returning? Having a Melmetal in the back, as there is literally no shot now down a Protect Shield. GGDAWG looking to work some magic, trying his luck, catching the rock side onto Mamoswine, but all we catch is a superpower to the face. The opponent gonna look to force our final Protect Shield here, and I think we're cooked. At this point, I think there's 2 win cons for us. The opponent lagging out, which of course is always possible, as Niantic have made a pretty crappy game, or them having a heart attack, which I wouldn't wish upon anyone. It looks like neither of them outcomes are going to happen, as the opponent fires off the close combat, securing the knockout. We fire off the break-in swipe, which is double resisted. The opponent doesn't need to shield this, and they don't. GGDAWG recognise the game's over, going to say, you've got me, and we're going to move on to the next one. You can see, unfortunately, it did cost us a 5-0, but there's plenty more battles to come. In the next battle, I cannot believe we went an entire set without seeing this thing, but Landorus makes its first appearance. As GGDAWG was looking to throw at good timing, rather than spamming his charge move on alignment, the opponent is able to outpace to a potential Stone Edge, and of course Landorus baits. Landorus may as well be the Pidgeot of the Master League. We then pivot into Mamoswine, baiting out Metagross. As the opponent's only got one protection, I'm not sure if I like this bait. Let's see if it pays off. Evidently GGDAWG is the best master baiter in the world, and of course we're shielding. You know what time it is, Metagross. Uh-oh, you're in trouble. The high horsepower's locked. It's loaded. Get that Metagross off my screen. Out comes Zekrom. Come on, Mamo. Reach the avalanche. Oh, man. We're denied of a big boom, but don't worry. This game looks as good as signed, sealed, and delivered. Back out comes Rayquaza. We fire off the break-in swipe, getting the opponent deep into the red. Even better for GGDAWG. That was a charge attack priority. We actually survived the Fusion Bolt. Shadow Claw farm down with Necrozma. Back out comes Landorus. Sandsea Storm simply isn't going to get the job done. We Shadow Claw farm down and take that game. In the next battle, we see the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death Master League Edition, more commonly known as Ho-Oh. The opponent farms up past the Brave Bird, allowing GGDAWG to strike first with the breaking swipe, forcing us early shield advantage. GGDAWG happy to match shields, shielding up the Brave Bird. To my surprise, the opponent continued to stay in, so this breaking swipe with a lower defense will knock out or force the opponent all shields down. We then see GGDAWG make a very savage Brave Bird catch onto Necrozma. It's not too often you're going to be switching a steel type into a fire type, but it did pay off. The opponent then enters the mirror, however behind an energy with no protect shields too high beyond. We land the Dark Pulse, getting the opponent deep into the red. GGDAWG says, Dusk Mane, thank you very much for your contribution. We're going to keep the protect shield for Mamoswine. We send in the Mammoth. Mammoth able to get a very nice resisted powder snow farm down. If Ho-Oh does return, we're going to be able to fire off the avalanche after one powder snow, meaning we aren't going to take a single incinerate. The opponent then sends out their third, which is Groudon. Groudon might think it's thick, but you, sir, are going to find out you're simply not thick enough. Avalanche easily going to pick up that one hit KO when we stop on lagging, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. In the next battle, we hard lose lead. We pivot into Dusk Mane, baiting out Kyogre. Once again, very nice to bait this thing onto the battlefield, as Mamoswine doesn't fancy the work. GGDAWG fires off the Dark Pulse, forcing us early shield advantage. We see the instant no shield deployed. Surf won't be lethal, so we are actually going to get off some very valuable chip damage. Perhaps putting this into Dragon Tail farm down range. Dark Pulse gets the bulky blue whale down below half health. GGDAWG just going to wait out his clock and of course send out Rayquaza, as Mamoswine would get melted. At worst, the opponent reaches a Thunder, if they even got it. The opponent actually just fire off a Surf, which is an easy tank, and we are spamming the switch. Let's go Mamoswine back out. Comes Togekiss, then the opponent sends out Mewtwo. Have a Mewtwo down a Protect Shield. We'll be losing this matchup. The Mammoth looking primed to sweep. GGDAWG overfarms before firing off the Avalanche. Trainer, pick your poison. Where does the opponent burn that final protection? They go all in on Mewtwo. As long as GGDAWG manages energy as well, this is game over. We shield up the side strike. Nice overfarm. This Avalanche will be knocking out. Avalanche gonna get that one hit KO. Back out comes Togekiss. We're gonna outpace to the next Avalanche, and Mamoswine is gonna sweep the back line. Very well played. GG's. GGDAWG doing a very nice job of baiting things out that Mamoswine doesn't want to see, and it is cleaning up house in the back. In the next battle, we see Groudon in the lead. For some bizarre reason, the opponent is staying in, an absolute dreadful matchup. They chip us with the Fire Punch and then send out Dialga. We answer with Dusk Mane. We go for the Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse does around half their health. Unless this opponent is running Thunder, we're going to be a complete wall to all of this energy. The opponent fires off the Iron Head, which simply doesn't get the job done. GGDAWG not messing around, just looking to maintain alignment, fires off the Dark Pulse, securing the knockout. The opponent hanging on to two Protect Shields as a we. You can see GGDAWG very keenly looking to fire off the Dark Pulse. The opponent looking to deny our energy, opt to throw yet another Fire Punch. Of course, we don't need to shield this, as we've got the water Groudon in the form of Rayquaza. GGDAWG sends back out Rayquaza. The opponent once again try and make a catch, sending out Mewtwo. Mewtwo going to be greeted with the breaking swipe. The first one forces the first Protect Shield. Rayquaza says there's plenty more of where that came from. The second breaking swipe does land. You can see Mewtwo getting torn apart. GGDAWG could probably actually win this game without even showing Mamoswine, giving it a well-deserved rest on the bench if he wants the double shield, and it looks like that is the play he is going to opt for. We shield up both side strikes, back out comes Groudon. Groudon instantly greeted with yet another break-in swipe. Rayquaza incredibly spammy. We get some luck with the coin flip attack drop. We're able to reach yet another break-in swipe on the charge attack priority. We get the screenshot for the road. GGDAWG very much enjoying using Rayquaza. The opponent recognise the game's over and concede the match. Heading into the next battle. Rayquaza into Dawnwings. Not a bad matchup, especially when shields are in play. GGDAWG opts to throw at good timing. Show me the attack drop. We've got plenty. Do we get another one? No, but we do get a Protect Shield, which is not bad either. We then pivot into Dusk Mane. Dusk Mane going to put up that Protect Shield, shooting at the Dark Pulse bait. The opponent then banks some energy before sending out Landorus. Again, we farm to the Sunsteel Strike bait with the Dark Pulse. Finally, we have an opponent with huge cojones calling a bait. As much as I'm personally not a fan of baiting, I don't dislike that bait in that situation, as we're still in a range where one Sandsea Storm won't knock out, and despite us being debuffed, this Dark Pulse will still remove Landorus from the field of play. Back out comes Dawnwings. Dawnwings able to Shadow Claw farm down. GGDAWG gonna shield up the potential. Moongeist Beam. The opponent now finds himself with one shield. Xerneas versus the Wild, but stay in school, kids. Learn to count. That should be a game-winning catch. Catching the close combat back onto Rayquaza. Rayquaza just going to fire off the breaking swipe. Fishing for some attack drops, which we get, meaning Mamoswine is now outside of close combat range. GGDAWG goes straight for the next breaking swipe. Do we get another attack drop? Yes, we do. Poor opponent. I think the win con for the opponent would be to look to commit to the Geomancy farm down, as they're going to need 2 moves to knock up Mamoswine. You're going to see one close combat isn't going to be enough to knock out. We're going to be able to Powder Snow farm down and take that game. And unfortunately, that is going to wrap things up. GGDAWG claims a very nice 5-0 to end today's video. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button if you're new. Consider subscribing if you like your battles, like GGDAWG had featured on my channel. A link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.